This is the Money Hour with your host, Tina Mitchell, on Alternative Talk, AM 1150. Now, back to the show with local mortgage and finance expert, Tina Mitchell.
Welcome back to the Money Hour with your host and mortgage expert, Tina Mitchell, right here at 1150 AM KKNW, the Saturday, August 22nd show. I build a network of elite industry professionals every week, sharing their knowledge and expertise to my listeners. If you're listening to my show at a different time or day, you are listening to a rebroadcast, but you can call the show at 1-855-400-1150. Again, that's 1-855-400-1150 or online at themoneyhour.com. And in studio right now, my experts is everything you need to know about inspection. Glad to have both of you back. Keith and Brian, thank you so much.
Thanks for having us back, Tina.
Yeah, thanks, Tina.
They are with Final Phase Inspection. A home inspection is the inspector is the person that you need. Different than an appraiser who determines the value of the home, the inspector determines the condition of the home, and not just the condition of your home right now today, but the condition of your home, what's going to come up in the future. So understanding your home, and I like to say the home's personality, what it has to offer. We all have strengths and weaknesses, right?
Oh, yeah.
A home has strengths and weaknesses.
Yes.
So if the strengths are what you want and the weaknesses you can deal with, then it's a great home for you. And that's really what your inspector is there to do. So again, I'm excited to have you guys back in studio to talk on this subject, and especially for anyone out there that's listening that is a homeowner, or anyone that's out there that's listening that's thinking of purchasing a home. These are the guys that you need to talk with about your home inspection. So a little background about Final Phase Inspection. Final Phase Inspection has been providing quality home inspection services in the Pacific Northwest since 2003. With hundreds of satisfied customers, their focus is on customer service and providing the absolute best home inspection experience. They have multiple inspectors with over 60 years combined experience in home construction and remodel, as well as restoration from fire and water damage. They offer a flexible schedule and are available 7 days a week for whatever convenient time might be for you to have them come out to the property. Special discounts are available. And for police, fire, and military personnel. So you want to ask them about that. They also are proud members of Legacy Caring Organization, as I am as well, which serves our senior communities and their families. Thanks again, you guys, for coming back. I want to go ahead and start out. Keith, let's go ahead and just start out with you on what does a home inspection cost, if anybody is wondering out there listening to the show.
Well, an interesting fact is that in most cases, the cost of a home inspection is less than 0.25% of a typical home sale or purchase. That equates to about $400 to $500. And the return on that investment is huge. And maybe to put it into a little different perspective, if you were to buy a car that costs $20,000 and you could hire someone to come to that location who is certified and qualified, do a complete inspection, give you a full report of anything that affected the functionality, and you only had to pay them $50. That's how much a home inspection costs. That's
a really interesting way to put it, because there's a lot of things that are going on, especially in the home purchase process, where there's a lot of costs that are coming in. And so anywhere that they can kind of cut cost, and when you put it down that way, I mean, why would you ever not have a home inspection, period? Regardless of how much the cost is, you need to have that home inspection. But when you look at it that way, I mean, it would be ridiculous not to do that. Brian, why are some of the reasons important that you would say that someone should be getting a home inspection?
Well, it makes good sense because it saves dollars. As Keith said just a minute ago, the percentage of what you're getting for what you're about to buy and purchase is huge. So it can save buyers the negotiating of having to, get things fixed on their own. They can negotiate with the seller. They could have the seller do the items, and then they don't have any out-of-pocket expense. As far as sellers, if you find a $1,000 item, no one negotiates at $1,000 at the table. It's $10,000 at a whack.
Yes.
I've been there. I've done this.
Yes.
And so fix the $1,000 item, and you don't have to negotiate those things.
Yeah. Good point. And for your sellers out there, I mean, the pre-inspection really, it's the way to go because of the fact that why do you want, or not pre-inspection, but you inspecting the home prior to somebody coming in looking at it, because buyers are doing pre-inspections. And let me tell you, well, you tell them. What happens when you have 10 inspectors out there crawling all over the roof and doing things? That can't be really good for the home, right?
No. You don't want a lot of traffic like that, but you're going to get it obviously when people come through the home. But, and every inspector is going to have their own opinion, some extreme and some light.
Sure.
And so you want to just try to hit the middle and be honest with the people who are buying or selling their home as to their condition.
Makes total sense. And I would go back to the car comparison because unlike a car, this is your home where your family is going to be living as well. So making sure that you've got a safe place for your family is really important. Keith, what is included in the actual home inspection? We've talked about the cost, $400 or $500, depending on the property and the age and all of that. What does that include?
Well, a quality home inspection actually is a comprehensive evaluation of the entire outside of the house and the inside of the house, as well as all of the grounds that are contained within the property being sold or purchased. This includes, I like to say, everything from the tip of the driveway at the street to the very top of the roof, and on the inside, from the very top of the attic inside down to the ground in which the home and the foundation are placed on. It also includes all major utilities, your power, your water heater, and your electrical panel, as well as all of your kitchen appliances.
Wow. And you guys are the only ones that are really getting in there and truly getting dirty.
Absolutely.
I mean, you're going to all of the crawl spaces and everything to make sure that home is in good condition, or if not, educating what the home needs. So, Brian, what about a common, I know there's a lot of issues that can come up on home, and again, they each have their own individual personality and their own little challenges, but what is a common thing that we're seeing in the properties here in our area?
Well, this can be broken up into two sections.
Okay.
On the outside, we'll find moisture damaged siding. And one thing we find is moisture damaged decking, which can be very dangerous when you're walking up steps. I actually had a buddy almost break his ankle on a step that he didn't know was rotted.
Oh, wow.
And so the other thing is you want to be aware of things that are going on the roof. A lot of places around here have the fake chimneys where they're wood, and they get moisture damage. Nobody goes up on the roof to check those things out, and we do.
Yes.
We find those things. As far as on the inside, service the furnace. That's a big thing, and that can lead to big problems like CO poisoning, carbon monoxide.
Wow.
Leaks under sinks, and old hot water heaters, that sort of thing. You disconnected exhaust pipes in the attic. So bath vents get up there, and usually when they're disconnected, you'll see a black spot right where they're at because it's allowing organic growth to start.
Got it.
And that's what we don't want. That's a health issue.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So, Keith, recently, a homeowner that you've helped or a potential homeowner coming into the house to purchase it, share with my listeners how you've saved them money.
A great.
I know you got tons of stories, but
recently I was doing an inspection for a buyer, and it was a home that was built in 2000. Well, it's that's not very old of a home. Not a lot of time for things to go wrong, but as Brian was mentioning, the importance of having gas furnaces serviced, there had been no service done since the home was new. What we found was there was rust inside of the furnace itself, rust in the vent pipes. The result was there was holes in the exhaust vent pipe, which was allowing carbon monoxide to enter the home up through the attic. And really the way that it saved money was the buyer was able to get the sellers to cover the entire cost of it. Yeah. The repairs typically must be in the neighborhood of $1,500, maybe $2,500, but the buyer didn't have to pay for that.
Yeah.
And neither the buyer or the seller is any longer at risk of carbon monoxide poisoning.
Yeah, which is huge. Again, the safety of your family. What are you willing to pay for that? And Keith, I want to shout out to the importance with the home inspector, because you're going to tell them exactly what they need to do when they bought that home at 2000, the maintenance that they should be doing to keep up to make sure these issues are not going to happen. So you really want to pay attention to your inspector and the advice that's given to keep that home in good condition. Brian, what about you? What about a recent homeowner or potential homeowner that you've helped save money with the inspection?
Just a week or two ago, I was doing an inspection, and I was inspecting the kitchen sink, and I had the dishwasher running. And as I noticed, the water was dripping out of the bottom drain of the kitchen sink. And so I ran my hand down there like I normally would to locate the leak, and the bottom of the drain fell out. It was rusted. It was gone. Wow. Water started pouring out. Now, as we know, the dishwashers are hooked up to these drains. Mm-hmm. How many people leave their house after they let the dishwasher start? If they hadn't, someone hadn't noticed that, and it leaked later, it would have been damaged from that point all the way down. Finished room below is actually their office, hardwood floors, carpeting, all that stuff. So that turned into a $20 repair because we found it up front. It would have been thousands, $25,000, $40,000 to fix something like that if it had been let go.
Jeez. So let's stay on this and talk about cost. Let's talk about some kind of minor cost. And in the typical little minor things that can come up, what would a cost look like, Keith?
Well,
on an average.
Well, before we get to that, it really depends on when it's done and who's doing it.
Okay.
For example, if you repair things before the sale, your cost is much less. As Brian was mentioning, it's much more expensive to negotiate these costs during the sale process. Also, who's doing it? Many homeowners think that they can cut costs by doing repairs themselves when oftentimes the professional provides a long-term solution, which is really in the best interest of everybody involved, because our focus of our home inspections are really about the safety and health of the people that are going to be inside the house. So your cost is somewhat dependent on when it's done and who's doing it. And Brian, I think, can give you some more details on specific costs of items. Okay, Brian?
So basically, we've discussed issues on the outside and issues on the inside. So as far as your roofing, you're going to start right around $5 a square foot to have a roof replaced. And so that equates to generally a 1,200 square foot house costing you $6,000 to $7,000 to start and going up from there. And so you can have, if you have moisture damaged siding, it could be as simple as finding just the siding, or it could go much deeper. Okay. So it could start at 500 and go up to thousands depending on how deeply it went. And that's the important part about having your inspector find those things.
Yes.
You know, as far as the water heater replacement, you're sitting probably right around $1,000 to start with an electric unit, and $1,500 for a gas unit to start. And obviously it goes up from there, depending on the unit you buy. Plumbing leaks, it could be as simple like I had mentioned earlier. Fixing a drain right now when you find it is $20 to $50, but if that continues on, or you could find major plumbing leaks or problems in the thousands.
Yes. So we have less than 60 seconds, probably 30 seconds before I've got to go to break here, but we need to have an entire show on some tips to take care of the house. So I want to leave you guys there listening, that you got to come back and listen when I bring the guys back in, because we're going to do tips. But really quickly, one tip to save some money for my listeners.
Replace your smoke and carbon monoxide detectors. Okay. Keep your family and your friends safe.
Thank you very much. Thank you guys so much for coming in. I really appreciate it. I appreciate everything that you're doing for our community and helping our realtors with their buyers to make sure that the buyers get in, understanding what their house has to offer and how to take care of it.
Thanks a lot, Tina.
Coming up next on The Money are Mark Tillen and Ed Urin with 3D4RE. How do you get top dollar for your house? Create a interactive online 3D model of your home. We're going to talk about that right here at 11:50 a.m. KKNW after the short break.